Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Word of Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 British Collector Tank Destroyer, the FV217 Badger, a vehicle that is absolutely incredible. It's got DPM, mobility, accuracy, and armor. There's really nothing else you could ask for when it comes to a tank destroyer apart from those things in front of you. I mean, sure, it doesn't have a turret, but the gun more than enough makes up for it. However, there is one thing that people always forget to notice about the Badger, and that is its hidden on-movement dispersion values. The Badger is quite possibly the least accurate tank on move in the entire tier of 10. And we can see those hidden values by making our way over to Blitz stars. We can see, for example, the 60 TP, an incredibly inaccurate vehicle, has 0.21 on-movement dispersion. Now that's terrible, but compared to the Badger's 0.26, the vehicle looks accurate. To put into your mind what average on-movement dispersion values look like, you can get a heavy, let's say like the Kron, which sits at 0.18, or how about a vehicle like the 5A, which is at 0.18. That is a solid, almost like 40% better than the Badger. And that is the problem with the vehicle, is that the Badger is just so incredibly bad on move that you basically are just flinging shells left and right, not really knowing where they're going to go. So that's the part about the Badger I've always personally wanted Wargaming to buff, is the on-movement dispersion, because of how inaccurate the vehicle is. Now, will that ever happen? Most likely not. We already know the patches for next update, and the vehicle is actually losing dispersion, but that's really not going to matter in my eyes, because the on-movement dispersion is so bad, Wargaming's not changing that. It's not going to make the tank any less accurate, because you're never aimed in really anyways. You could put on a refined gun, and it just wouldn't make a difference. This is one of those tanks you are forced to drive V-stabs on. It's also getting sandbags, which is a bit of a weird, it's a bit of a weird consumable to get due to the fact that, or it's not a consumable, it's a provision, but it's a weird one to get down to the fact that right now you want to run double food and fuel. Fuel is absolutely mandatory for a vehicle like the Badger, because it not only increases your power to weight, but it increases your traverse speed by a pretty tremendous amount. And having traverse speed is obviously incredibly important for a vehicle like this. So when it comes to the Badger, you're probably going to take one of your small food and replace that with a large sandbag, which will increase your hit points by probably around 100. Now, is it worth it to take off that small food? That's really a question up to the eye of the beholder, because obviously small food is a pretty big benefit to not only your DPM by about 50 or so, but it also gives you a advantage on view range, traverse speed, and it is a 3% advantage on every stat versus just a hit points increase. So it's kind of back and forth on whether you need it or not. But I guess we'll find out that question when the vehicle actually gets changed next update. The vehicle's getting heat shells as well next update, which is kind of weird, because heat is good and bad at the same time. It's better for penetrating flat armor. Like if you're shooting at something that's angled and it's just a flat angled plate, it's very, very good for cutting through that. What it's really bad at is cutting through, yeah, there you go, right through the Yo's turrets. The great thing about the Badger is that it's got enough pen to cut right through the Yo's turret cheeks, which is pretty nasty. And this is where APCR is nice, is you can obviously cut right through any sort of spaced armor. So that's kind of where I like the Badger as of right now, is cutting through spaced armor. We can see that the Badger is just ripping through the Yo, again, right through the gun mantlet right now. And that's obviously, again, where the Badger is super, super solid currently. We were literally able to just rip that poor guy into shreds. We got the Type 71 up top, which we're going to get a pretty easy 575 max roll into. I don't think he enjoyed that all too much. Alright, well, let's see if we can get a shell to the mouse. Aiming and fire. There you go. Nice 465 shot. I should point out we are already up to 2,300 damage in this game, which is kind of insane when you think about it. Let's put on our adrenaline and see if we can get any more damage into this mouse. Alright, aiming, and 3, 2, 1, bonk. There you go. Another nice 502 damage shot there. And 3, 2, 1, bonk. Yep. Just like that, we have killed a full health mouse, And we are up to 3,700 damage. I mean, do I really need to say much else about the Badger? The tank is ridiculous, and it definitely features one of the most overpowered guns, like, in Tier 10. I mean, look at what I'm doing here. This is actually insane. We're going to back up from that Yag so he can't shoot me. Let's aim it on the Type again. There you go, another easy pen right into his vehicle, and, well, we're going to reload in just another moment here. We should actually out-reload. Well, we didn't out-reload the Type, but that's fine. We still got some pretty nice damage out. Now we're going to aim it on the Jagdpanzer E100. And let's go for a overmatching shot onto his side armor. There you go. Nice shot of Rooney into his vehicle. Let's aim it again. A 3, a 2, a 1, and bonk. There you go. Another nice slap into his track wheel. And just like that, I really don't think this Jag is enjoying life all too much. Let's just shoot a premium shell. There you go. Finished him off. Okay, well, just like that, all we have left is the M48 Patton and the Progetto. We still have 1,300 health, and we've done a pretty slapping job, if I'm going to be real. Not sure if anybody's going to drive in front of us here, but you'll notice the Badger's also not very slow. It actually has a pretty solid power to weight, and with that power to weight, we are able to get up to speed pretty fast. So let's see if we can get a shell. There you go. Nice shot finishing off the enemy Patton. And all that's left is the enemy Progetto. So, I mean, do I really need to say anything else about the Badger? We are up to 6,800 damage this game. If we get one more pen out, we'll be up to 7,000 damage. And, yeah, I mean, the tank is busted right now. Like, it's absolutely busted. I'm going to just try and turn and slap this guy. Come on, let me pen you. There you go. 7,000 damage. That's all I really cared about. 7,347 damage. I mean, that is insane. My brain actually can't fathom how much damage we were just able to deal in that short amount of time. If this game was able to last any longer and there were any more opponents in front of us, we very easily could have dealt 8,000 damage. Still, 7,430 is a pretty insane chunk for just how quick that battle went. And this is why the Badger is absolutely insane. That was really the perfect battle to showcase just why the Badger is insane. It's got the DPM, it's got the armor, it's got gun depression, it has everything. And sure, even though the gun isn't very accurate when moving, as long as you're able to sit still and work it on a ridgeline, I mean, you can see the results that this tank is able to achieve. It's crazy. There's not a single other tier 10 that could have dealt as much damage as I did this game. So, I still believe the Badger is by far one of the best and most important tanks in the entire game to try and get your hands on. This vehicle is currently for sale at 20,000 gold today, and for probably the next week or so, or 2 weeks, usually Wargaming has it out. I would definitely be willing to say that if you had this tank on your mind, and this is the kind of vehicle that you want to get your hands on, it's not the worst deal ever. It comes with the tank, the camo, and 25x5 boosters. And for 20,000 gold, if you're getting double gold bundles, either on Wargaming's official store, or you're buying the double gold bundles, like you can see I have one left here, then you can probably get the tank for about 30-ish bucks, $35. I mean, that's not a ridiculous price tag for a tier 10. To be fair, it is still quite expensive, but at the end of the day, it's really up to you. I think the Badger's an insanely fun tank, and there's really nothing like it in Tier 10. It's unfortunate it's not on the tech tree, but at the end of the day, I guess Wargaming just wants to make some money. I love the Badger, though, and it's always going to be one of my favorite Tier 10s after they buffed it. So, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.